Let's talk about bedtime with kids.
Oh boy, bedtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've ever felt like you're basically negotiating a peace treaty just to get someone tucked in, well, you're definitely not alone.
No, definitely not. It's such a common thing, isn't it?
It really is. And it's this puzzle. Why does the quiet of night sometimes seem to just like amplify every tiny worry swirling around in the kid's head?
It truly is. Just when the day's noise and, energy finally winds down, their thoughts can suddenly kick into high gear. Sleep feels miles away.
Right. So in this deep dive, we're going to explore why bedtime can turn into this really challenging time, often just bubbling over with worries and what feels like just endless mental chatter.
Mm-hmm.
And we've gathered some really helpful materials, sources focused on how to gently guide kids towards calm when those nighttime worries grab hold.
Yeah. And our goal here is pretty straightforward, really. It's to give you a clearer picture of what might be going on, inside your child's head as the day ends. And importantly, to offer some practical, kind of reassuring strategies that can hopefully lead to more peaceful nights for everyone.
For everyone, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump right in. Why? Why does it seem like all the day's little bumps, the big feelings, everything, just decides to throw a party in their heads right when it's lights out?
Well, it's actually quite insightful if you think about it, like a container filling up all day long.
Okay.
Think about all the new things they learn, the people they interact with, the small frustrations, the rules, the limits. It's just this constant stream of input.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
And so as the day ends and all that outside noise and activity fades away, it's almost like that container just gently tips over. And everything that's been collected, all those experiences, those feelings, they can just sort of surface then.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like their minds finally get a quiet moment to process everything. And sometimes that processing feels big, maybe overwhelming.
Exactly that. And, if we layer on top of that how the brain actually shifts gears at night, the part that does the heavy lifting during the day, the active thinking, problem-solving part, the prefrontal cortex, it naturally starts to power down a bit.
Right, getting ready for sleep.
But meanwhile, the emotional center, the limbic system, the part dealing with feelings, that actually becomes, relatively speaking, more active, more influential.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So knowing this, it really highlights why just trying to logically talk a child out of their fears at bedtime, well, it often just doesn't land.
Because the logical part is winding down.
Exactly. What they often need first is that emotional connection, that validation.
So when a child is suddenly wide awake talking about worries or monsters or whatever it is in the dark, it's often less about them deliberately trying to stall and maybe more about these feelings just bubbling up.
That's such a crucial shift in perspective.
Yes.
What might look like resistance or pushing boundaries can very often just be the only way they know how to express these unexpressed, maybe unacknowledged emotions from their day. It's vulnerability, really, not defiance.
Okay. So they're bringing these feelings, sometimes big, maybe confusing feelings, to us in the quiet. What is it they actually need from us in those moments? Not what we think they need, maybe.
Well, this brings up a really key point from the materials we looked at. They really emphasize that kids in that moment, they aren't really looking for us to fix it instantly or to make the worry disappear with logic.
Right. Not a quick fix.
No. What they seem to deeply crave is feeling understood. Just knowing that their feelings, however illogical they might seem to us, are being heard and acknowledged without judgment.
Heard? Okay. So what does being heard actually look like? When we're standing there, maybe tired ourselves, in their dimly lit room.
Often, it really boils down to your calm, steady presence. Just being there. Maybe sitting quietly, perhaps even trying to match your breathing to theirs for a moment. That creates a feeling of safety.
A safe space.
A space where their fears can just be without us trying to immediately change them or rush them away. And simple, loving actions can say so much.
Like what?
Like a very quiet whisper of, I hear you, I'm right here. That can be incredibly grounding for a child. Or just offering your hand, even just letting them hold on to your finger. It's that tangible connection.
That physical reassurance, yeah. And you mentioned familiar sounds, too, like a song.
Oh, absolutely. For a child, familiarity equals safety, doesn't it? So a soft, maybe repetitive song that they know well, something you've sung before, it can have a really deeply soothing effect on their nervous system.
Okay.
And simple, gentle phrases like worries don't last forever, or we can let them float away together like little clouds. Just gently introducing the idea that these feelings aren't permanent. They're manageable.
It really sounds like our own sense of calm, our own regulated state is maybe the most powerful tool we bring into that room, perhaps even more than finding the perfect words.
That's absolutely spot on. Never underestimate the power of your own steady, calm energy. You really don't need to have all the answers. You don't need perfectly crafted sentences. Your quiet, confident presence often does more heavy lifting than anything else. It is the reassurance.
Okay, so being present, being calm, that's foundational.
Mhm.
But beyond that, are there some, concrete, actionable things, little techniques or rituals we could weave into the bedtime routine to help quiet down a busy mind?
Yes. There are some really wonderful, gentle strategies that can become comforting anchors for them. One really effective idea that came up is using a worry jar or maybe a
Hmm.
worry box.
Oh, how does that work?
So before they actually climb into bed, the child can either write down or if they're younger, maybe draw anything that's weighing on their mind, any worry. And then they physically place that paper into the jar or the box. And as they do it, you can offer a verbal cue, something consistent like, okay, we'll keep these worries safe right here until morning. Tonight is just for rest.
Well, I like that.
Yeah,
It gives the worry a physical place, acknowledges it, but also sets a boundary for the night.
precisely. It validates the worry but contains it. Another really lovely one, especially for younger kids, is the blow away the worry technique.
Blow away the worry.
Yeah, you encourage them to imagine their worry is like a little bubble floating in front of them.
Hmm.
Then you guide them to take a nice deep breath in and then gently blow the bubble, the worry, away. You could even add a little phrase like, let's blow that worry far, far away like a dandelion puff.
That's sweet. And it uses their breath, too, which we know is calming.
Exactly. That deep exhale is inherently soothing for the nervous system, so it's doing double duty.
That's clever. Okay, what else? Any other gentle tools?
Another comforting concept is the light blanket. This is more about association. You take a particular soft blanket, maybe a favorite one,
Yeah.
and you intentionally start associating it with feelings of safety and calm. So as you tuck them in, you might say something like, here's your special light blanket. It's here to keep you feeling safe and to help soften any heavy thoughts tonight.
So you're kind of infusing the blanket with this idea of safety.
You are creating a positive, comforting anchor they can physically feel and hold on to.
Nice. And we touched on singing earlier, but it sounds like even just humming could work if you're not feeling like singing.
Yes, absolutely. Singing is great, but even just humming a simple, familiar, comforting melody, it has a deeply regulating effect. It doesn't need to be, a performance.
Right, right.
The predictability, the rhythm, the gentle sound itself, that's where the comfort lies.
Okay. And there was one more technique you mentioned, something about a safety check.
Yes, the 1, 2, 3 safety check. This one relies on consistency. Every night, as part of settling them in, you whisper the same simple sequence.
Okay, what is it?
It's just
1, your bed is soft and cozy. Pause. 2, I'm right here, close by. Pause again. 3, you are safe and sound.
simple.
Very simple, but the repetition, night after night, builds this really strong, predictable cue that reinforces their feeling of security right before sleep.
These are all such lovely, gentle ideas, really practical, but
Yeah.
let's be real for a second. There are those nights when we, the parents, we are just running on empty, utter fumes.
Oh, absolutely. Let's definitely talk about that. Because parental fatigue is real, and it's a huge factor in these situations.
Yeah.
It is completely okay and completely normal to feel utterly drained after a long day. And the resources we looked at are very clear on this. Perfection is not the goal here.
Thank goodness.
Right. In those really tired moments, just being present, even in a very quiet, low-energy way, can still be incredibly powerful. You don't have to be on.
Okay, so what does that look like practically on those nights when our own energy is just gone? It could be as simple as just sitting quietly on the floor next to their bed, maybe taking a few slow, deep breaths together without even saying much.
Just sharing the space.
Exactly. You could even voice it gently, like, I'm feeling pretty tired too right now. How about we just close our eyes together quietly for a few moments?
Acknowledging your own state, too.
Mm-hmm. That shared stillness, that
Right.
quiet companionship, it still communicates safety and connection. It doesn't require a huge output of energy from you, but it shows them your presence is constant, even when you're tired, that you're still there.
That's actually really helpful. It takes the pressure off feeling like we always have to be actively doing something, fixing something.
It really does. And honestly, if you're listening to this and you are showing up night after night, trying to navigate these tricky bedtimes with your child, You're already doing so much. You're doing a great job.
That's important to hear.
It is. The information we explored comes back to this again and again. Kids who are struggling with nighttime worries, they don't need perfect parents. They need connected parents, present parents.
Connected and present.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we were to sort of bring together some of the main takeaways from this discussion.
Sure. I think a few key things stand out. First, your own calm, your regulated state, often has a bigger impact than any specific words you might choose. It sets the tone.
Right. Our calm is contagious, hopefully.
Exactly. Second, the simple sound of your voice, calm, reassuring, is a powerful anchor of security for your child in the dark. And third, remember that you are their stability. You're the steady point when their thoughts feel like they're swirling at night.
And that simple phrase, maybe even just, I'm right here, you can sleep now, said consistently. That really builds trust over time, doesn't it?
It truly does. It's a constant, reliable message. Comfort, safety, permission to rest. It helps them learn to relax and let go.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, thinking about ending the night, what's a gentle way we can maybe conceptualize that? A closing thought or action?
Well, one tender suggestion that emerged from the sources is trying a very quiet, brief closing ritual. Maybe just sitting by their bed for a moment after they're settled.
Yeah.
Perhaps placing a gentle hand on their back or their arm and whispering something simple like, whatever happened today, it's all done now. Tomorrow will come with new light. And for tonight, we rest. Just a quiet acknowledgement and release.
That sounds really peaceful.
Yeah.
A loving way to close the door on the day.
It does, doesn't it? And really, to everyone listening, you've got this, truly. We see the effort, we understand the challenges, and we're with you, in those quiet moments, offering that gentle reassurance. It's powerful stuff, that love.
It really is. So maybe here's a final thought to kind of mull over. How might weaving in just one of these simple, gentle rituals, maybe the worry box or the 1, 2, 3 check, how might that start to shift the whole landscape of bedtime? Not just for getting sleep tonight, maybe, but for really nurturing that lasting sense of safety and calm in your child over time.